court. And that's why you could see some frustration on the face of Jeremy Merkin.
Point, Singapore.
A good attempted save by Kershaw.
Timeout, USA.
This entire rally lacked pace, but now there's a timeout by the United States.
When you're pressuring with the block, it's just all about covering the angles. They're not going to power through an experienced team. You have to use our power. That's what we got to find. With that switch, that switch the mindset. You got to be strong.
Time's up. Players in the court. Ready, USA?
A much needed timeout for the United States of America as they are trailing Singapore by 4 points. Singapore are only 2 points away
13.
from winning this first set in the quarterfinal of the men's REGU event. And it will be Kershaw to begin proceedings.
Point, Singapore.
Puts it long yet again, and it's a set point for Singapore soon after the timeout.
Game point, 14,
5 of them.
9. Point, Singapore.
Singapore have taken the first set 15-9 against the United States. While the United States were fighting hard, Singapore, of course, a lot better in this first set. Now, for the United States, it is important to put in a better performance in the second set at the ISTAF Sepak Takraw World Cup 2025 in Patna, Bihar. This is the men's quarter-final in the REGU event.
First set, Singapore win 15-9, 2 minutes less.
Bunchai Lord Pipats.
Ready?
Bunchai Lord Pipats in the middle
Second
there,
set, Singapore to serve.
acting president of the International Sepak Takraw Federation.
Ready, USA.
By various members of the Sepak Takraw Federation of India, members past and present.
Low. All.
Always looks very calm, Claire. Not overawed in the slightest. Great save by Cha. Great set by Tao. Great spike by Ray.
One. Love. Point. Singapore.
Still hasn't quite found his rhythm with the serve, Kurcha. Still hasn't quite found his rhythm with the serve, Kurcha. Hitting the net yet again. He's also put a few long. Apart from that initial serve, which was a little short, there haven't been too many good ones from him.
Point.
But play Ray on the net, he's good.
Let's have a look at the serving. The ball toss from Tao. That was a good ball toss. It was up high, right above Cha's head. Made him get his foot almost at a 180-degree angle. Ball toss is very important. It's not just the Tekong striking it. USA, a couple of points clear. Make that 3. We know they're capable of scoring points. We know they're capable of playing very good tackle. Saw that against India.
4-1. Two, 4. Point. USA.
Danish Irfan's turn to miss out on a couple of services. You can see what he was trying to do there, and Singapore finding themselves adrift. They've taken the timeout.
Stay in front the whole game, no runs. They get one more touch. One and done.
Time's up. Players, ready.
Come on, let's go.
Ready, Singapore.
We begin after the timeout again, and Singapore had opted for it as USA were just gaining early momentum in the second set. It's 5-2 with Korcha to serve. Zahir Rahman, the tall figure of Zahir Rahman, quite flexible and acrobatic. Play Rate did his best to block that one.
3-5.
There's the acting president of the International Sepak Takraw Federation in conversation with the chief of the Bihar State Sports Authority.
Point. USA. It's over.
There's also Mr. Yogendra Dahiya,
Ready?
the chief of the Sepak Takraw Federation of India.
6,
Here
3.
in Patna, Bihar, we've been very fortunate to come here and be a part of this event.
Point.
This time, a few felicitations continue.
4, 6. Point. USA.
Full credit and a token of gratitude for the support of the Bihar government and the Bihar State Sports Authority there.
7, 4.
They've been instrumental and critical for the successful staging of the ISTAF Sepak Takraw World Cup 2025.
Point. Singapore.
Singapore looking to turn this around
Ready?
after the timeouts.
A friendly chat between the Bihar State
5,
Sports Authority
7.
chief and the acting president of ISTAF.
Point. USA.
How good was that from Play Ray? He set himself up for that spike and then just tipped it over with the front of his foot. This is why this youngster is really
8,
impressive, isn't he?
5.
The presence of mind.
Point. Singapore. Ready?
Another fault on service. Shah is going to have to find his radar
6,
as
8.
quickly as he can. Still contributing in other ways.
Point.
Save from Shah, set from Tao, and a spike from Ray. All three involved. That's what you want to see.
Ready?
Everyone knowing their role.
Yes, and they have to keep feeding Play Ray with those
9,
good
6.
setups. Then he can finish them off very well, as he's consistently done throughout this men's REGU event.
Point. USA.
That was very good. Once again, this time, Play Ray using the header, just put it past the net.
It's difficult. It's flying through the air. You have to
6,
assume
10.
that the striker on the other side of the net isn't going to get to it first. Close your eyes and hope. Make sure you're in the right position.
Point. Singapore.
Good tape service from Danish Irfan. Singapore in a little bit of trouble in this set.
Who went way back past the baseline and still managed to deliver a spike. But in the end, for Kercha,
Singapore.
simple.
Well, I think the credit has to go to United States. It was well saved by Zahir
7,
Rahman,
11.
but they then saved, set, spiked, and they've got themselves a 4-point lead.
Point.
Chart comes up to the
USA.
net. Everyone getting in on the act, and they're 5 points clear. 3 points away from taking us to a decider.
5 points clear, and you can see the energy in the United States camp. This is what you want to see. Jeremy Merkin will be
12,
very happy,
7.
very pleased. Now he'll tell them, boys, let's just finish it. Let's get the second set.
Point. Singapore.
Like that point there,
Ready?
USA once again.
Ball,
It
please.
was a clash of heads contest between Zahirman and Ray.
8-12.
Anxious times for Coach Saleh. USA just 3 points away from taking this to a decider.
Point. Singapore.
Not the best of setups. It was way away
Cover.
from Ray. He had to reach out to that one, which is why he sent it out of the court. His momentum was taking him one way, the ball was
9.
going the other.
Well, short of him suddenly becoming a left footer, it was the only way it could have gone for him. And I think he needed to tap it over the net rather than rolling.
Point.
That'll do, though.
USA.
Singapore out of sorts in this second set.
Cover.
Timeout surely
Singapore
needs to come
ready.
from them. But thinking about it, they used their timeouts earlier in the set when they were down. So no options here other than to make substitutions. USA 2 points away.
The United States have really turned a corner since the beginning of the second set. Meanwhile, an inadvertent break of sorts for Singapore as one of their players goes out, stretching a little bit.
I don't know how inadvertent this is. I think this is quite deliberate. This is, I said they need to take a timeout, forgetting that they already had. So this is their equivalent of a timeout.
That's why.
And the other two players have just gone towards the bench and they're having a chat now.
Well, of course, our viewers can't see. I use the air quotes when I said inadvertent.
Stay warm, stay loose.
A little bit sneaky by Singapore.
Ready? Singapore.
Almost have soccer rules and say, well, okay, you can come back on after play started.
9-13.
Make them play with 2 for the start of this point. So huge service coming up for Danish Irfan.
Point. Singapore.
He's put that long play rate. It was an opportunity for him.
Thirteen, 10. Ball. Point.
Great service
USA.
by Cha, and that sets up 4 set points for USA.
Cover. Ready?
4
See
set points, and that's some turnaround by them.
some
10,
activity on the
10
Singapore
point,
bench.
14. Fifteen, 10. 2-minute rest.
The hair boy is so short. He got big older. And short. No trying to kick.
Number 11. Singapore. Number 11.
I love that energy. I love the energy from you guys. Find it and heart rate maybe up to years ago. Come here, show the world that you're a certain concept that you have in mind. We're here to you're good. I'm good. Let's all use that question. Let's make them circular.
Great.
Don't try to overshoot. Everything's good. It's going to be the way it is.
Players ready.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
In the court.
World Cup 2025. That's
Ready,
between
Singapore.
Singapore and
Love.
USA. They are level at
All.
1-1. This is the third set, the decider.
So same again, first to
Singapore.
15. The only difference is we're going to change ends when one of the two teams gets to 8. So when one of the two teams is just over halfway towards securing a semi-final berth, who's going to have the psychological advantage? Of leading the teams round at the change of ends.
Point. USA.
Get the impression that if the US captain Cha can find his range on service, which he hasn't got up until now, and yet they've taken it to
2, 1. Point. Singapore.
And they'll also go so far as to say USA need everything to go right for them. They need every spike to come off. That one
1,
pretty
3.
low down the net.
Good serve.
Point.
That was a good
USA.
serve. You just mentioned that they need everything to go right for them, and that includes Kercha because his serves have to be a lot better. And on that occasion, that's a good start for him.
Three, 2.
Kercha trying to come forward to block, and the player standing back has just managed to place it between the two.
2, 4.
Jeremy Merkin living every point out there. He's a former player.
Point.
Well left.
Singapore.
Called out by Tao, called out by the judges. That was a fine margin. I think that's why everybody's laughing.
Ready?
He saw it until the last second and then let it go.
4, 3. Point. Singapore.
Singapore got the early lead, and USA finding it difficult to get back on level terms. They'll get it to within 1. Singapore will win another point, and obviously every point is taking Singapore nearer to the semi-finals. and every point is pushing USA out of the tournament. 3-point gap now.
Singapore. Six, 3. Point.
That's it.
USA.
Good help.
It's over.
Hey, you guys.
Ready, USA?
Take your time. Breathe for a minute. Breathe. Control. Get your toss. Just you and him.
4, 6. Point. Singapore. It's over.
Singapore stealing the advantage in this all-important third set with that 3-point margin.
7, 4.
So far from the USA, it hasn't been like the second set where they were ticking their boxes.
Point.
You always want to change ends in the lead.
Ready,
And
Singapore?
if you're behind, you want it to be as close as possible. If it's 8-6, 8-7, you
Easy.
think, okay, it's not a mountain to climb. But here, USA, change of ends. The coaches, substitutes changing ends as well, of course. It's got away from them a little bit here. They need to turn things around really quickly. Danish Irfan doesn't want to let them do that, of course. And
Ready.
that's something that can be forgotten in the change of ends. You think, whose turn is it to serve?
8.
And it's USA's. Don't think Singapore will mind either way. They're getting points on service and on reception.
Out. Point, USA.
I'm actually quite surprised that USA have not yet opted for the timeout.
Eight.
They've had a
5.
change of ends, so they've had a mental reset. The timeout
Point.
isn't
Singapore.
an automatic booster. It's not like taking a power play or something like that.
Ready?
It can help, but it's not a guarantee. It doesn't
5,
give you
9.
points. They've had the change of ends. They've had a quick mental break, time to think about things.
Point. Singapore.
It just seems to be slipping away from the United States of America.
Serving
Singapore.
from Danish Irfan. It looks like Singapore are going to get through to the semi-finals,
Timeout, USA.
where they will face Japan. And here is the timeout finally taken by USA. A last throw of the dice for them.
Players, ready? On the court.
Ni kita punya, Pek. Ni kita punya.
5-11.
Singapore on course, leading this third set by 6 points. 11-5. USA need to pull a rabbit out of the hat.
Point. And referee out.
Called out by the line judge at the back. Of the court. One there to
Point.
top right of the screen. He raises his hands after that.
7.
No, 3 in a row, and it all started with that really slow serve.
3.
It's actually USA who needs some magic out there.
Well, they found the magic in the last 3 points since the timeouts. Singapore taking another medical break, as they did towards the end. If Zahirman is in discomfort, then they've got players on the bench.
Landed hard on his back. Seems to have just hurt his lower back a little bit.
Up he gets. Let's see what he's like at the net. His team are just 4 points away from a semi-final spot.
Okay, players ready.
I wonder if he's going to be a little bit ginger when it comes to trying to put in another roll spike like the one we just saw in slow motion.
11.
Or whether he's going to be flying through the air like a spring chicken.
Point. USA.
4 points in a row.
Comeback has started.
Ready? USA.
Char at the net this time.
9-11.
USA have twin threats. That man there, the Tekong, can come forward and act as a second striker. He's played as a striker earlier in his career.
Point. Singapore.
It's the problem when you're 6 points behind. 11-5 it was going into the timeouts. Even if you win 4 in a row, as soon as Singapore get 1, then you think, okay, we're 3 points from defeat
9.
here.
Point.
All it takes is one good service from Singapore or one bad service from USA. As we saw here, a great service by Danish Irfan. They're 2 points away.
Ready?
Tao standing a little far back there.
Yes, sir. 9-13. Point. Singapore.
They've got 5 match points. Singapore convincing in this third set, although there was a comeback from the United States of America post their timeout.
Match
With
point.
Singapore all the
14,
way
9.
1 point away from taking their spot in the semi-finals.
Point.
They are going to the
Singapore.
semi-finals.
They use the baseline.
15-9, 10-15, 15-9. Although the United States of America put in a spirited performance, you've got to say that Singapore are the deserving team as they make their way to the semi-finals of the men's REGU event at the ISTAF Sepak Takraw World Cup 2025. It's Singapore 2, USA 1.
USA raised the game. I think they might have been there for the taking. Credit to USA, but Singapore it is who make it through to the final four.
There were times when Singapore were tested, particularly